Next up, we're going to cover logical operators. So logical operators are operators that allow us to combine different expressions. So we can combine more than one piece of logic together to form one larger piece of logic. And there are three core logical operators built into JavaScript and every other programming language I've ever heard of. They are right here in front of us: and, or, and not. Three of them: and, or, not. So we're going to begin in this video by focusing on and. So and, which we write using two ampersands, 1, 2, two ampersands, the character located above, at least on my computer, the 7 key. Two of them together is logical and this is going to join an expression on the left and an expression on the right. And in order for the entire thing to be considered true, the left and the right must be true. So both of them have to be true for the whole thing to be true. That is the rule of and. So we could start nice and simple. Without any complicated expressions, we can just have something like this: true and true. Is the left side true? Yes. Is the right side true? Yes. The whole thing is true. But if any one of them, there's only two of them, if either one becomes false, the entire thing is false. So we have false and false is false, false and true is false, and true and false is false. The only way to get true from the end result, the output, think of it as like a machine. We're putting two things in, a left and a right, a true and a true, we get true out. Otherwise, we get false. I read an article a while back where the author was trying to explain this in terms of asking his mom to go play outside on a school night. After school, the mother would say, you can go play outside with your friends if you have, if you finish your homework and you have done the dishes or cleaned your room or whatever it is. So you have to do both of them. And if either one of them is not done, you can't go outside, right? Okay. So soon we'll see or, and you probably can get where I'm going with this. The or logical operator behaves differently. Now, typically we're not going to do this, false and true or true and true, at least not directly. We would have some expression like 1 equals 1, also very stupid and trivial, and 2 is less than 7. That whole thing is true. Why? Well, the left is true and the right is true. So a better example of when we would use something like this, if we come over here, I'm in a new file, logical operators, app.js, is something like this. If we ask for an input, let's say a password again, so prompt, enter your password, const password, or password is fine. Remember what we had last video, 2 videos ago, where we wanted to make sure a password was of a certain length and that the password did not contain spaces. Well, I can combine those two pieces of logic just like this. If password.length greater than or equal to 6 and password.index of space is, so if we're checking to see if it's greater than or equal to 6, it needs to be long enough, and it should not contain a space. So we want to see if the index of a space is equal to -1. If that's the case, both of those things have to be true in order to get here. Console.log valid password. Otherwise, if either one is wrong, here we'll console.log, incorrect format for password or something like that, right? So if we make it to this console.log, it means our password is greater than 6 characters long or equal to, and it does not contain a space. So let's try it. Refresh the page, enter my password. Let's do something that is correct. So I don't know, this is stupid. Password 123. That is long enough and it has no spaces. Cool, valid. Now let's try something that's too short. Invalid. Something that has a space. Invalid. So we've combined those two pieces of logic into a single statement using and. That's kind of all there is to it. We have our left and our right. They both need to be true for the whole thing to be true. If either side evaluates to false, the whole thing is false. In fact, if this first part is false, JavaScript won't even bother looking at the second part. If the left is false, it won't look at the right because there's no point. It's called short circuiting. It's never going to run this code inside of these braces if the first part is false. It just knows it's a lost cause. Both parts need to be true. Okay, so next up we'll see our second operator, which is logical OR.